Hi, this is John Hughes, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Jighead Jon Kayak Fishing and Baits. My first video I did was a review of my Old Town Sportsman 132 Big Water EPDL, and then my second video was on all the modifications and the DIY modifications I've done. I love fishing. I live in St. Augustine, Florida. I fish Jacksonville and St. Augustine, Florida, inshore saltwater areas. So my second hobby is making my own soft plastic baits. So about 4 months ago, I started to realize that I have spent, so much money on soft plastic baits I never use. I got a Tupperware container up there just full of them. So I went online and I started looking at videos on how to make your own soft plastic baits. First guy I looked at was a guy named Chris Jones on World's Worst Fishing, and also SDG Customs Lure Craft Baits. These two guys are amazing bait makers. I watched all their videos. They have excellent videos on how to start making soft plastic baits as a beginner. I highly recommend, if you're interested in this, tuning into their channels. There's also some other good channels, Bait Chunkin', Triple C Fishing, and there's another guy named Matt Luna Fishing. I think Matt is sponsored by Do It Molds, which is an excellent mold to get started with for soft plastic bait fishing. I fish for speckled trout, flounder, redfish, inshore species. And typically our bait fish in the area are of certain colors like black, gold, green, blue, silver, and maybe some copper. We don't have a huge variation in the colors like they do with the freshwater species. I'm amazed at some of the baits these guys make for freshwater fishing. So I'm going to be a little bit more focused on saltwater fishing and making plastics for the type of fishing I do inshore in 1 to 6 feet of water. What I want to do first is I want to go over a budget-friendly review of how I got started doing soft plastic baits. So I've got everything set out here on the table, and I'm just going to kind of go over what I have, and also as the video goes through it, I will put up what I spent on each thing and what the total price is. So when you get started, the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need Plastisol, and you're going to need a Pyrex cup. The Plastisol I went with, after researching, I went with Bait Plastics medium 242 Plastisol. It's clear, low odor. It's an excellent Plastisol for me because I need soft plastics that have a lot of good movement but also can hold up to the toothy critters we fish for. This is an excellent plastic. I've been using it all along. It works perfect. So you got your Plastisol. You can go to Dollar Tree, $1.25 Tree, and get you 3 butter knives for $1.25. You're going to need these to stir your Plastisol and stir in your pigments and your flakes. You're going to need teaspoons. So you need to get you a set of teaspoons. I recommend getting from a half a teaspoon all the way down to 1/32. You're going to need clamps to clamp your molds together to hold them tight so you don't get any Plastisol seeping out of the actual mold. The next thing is you're going to need molds. So I watched that Matt Luna Fishing guy, and I like to use swim baits. So they have a swim bait called the Ripper swim bait. It's an 8 injection mold. I'm going to be injecting that today, and we're going to show you what the baits look like. They're excellent baits. They have great movement. They swim well. So we're going to do that one. And I also have the Slick Shiner mold. That's it right there. A little bit smaller, but it's a great bait, and we're going to shoot some of those. Now, I did some research on what colors I should get to start with. So I went on to LureWorks, which has a ton of pigment colors. I got black, blue, green pumpkin, white, watermelon, and chartreuse. Today I'm going to shoot some baits with the chartreuse, and I'm going to shoot some baits with the blue. Now, as far as flakes go, I wasn't real sure where to get flakes. There's tons of companies that sell flakes. So I just happened upon Lurecraft. So I purchased some Lurecraft flakes, and the colors I got to start with are gold, red, ocean blue, silver, and black. Now, the most important thing you're going to need is an injector. So Do It Molds sells this 6-ounce injector. I'll put the price up for it. It's a good little starter injector, and I'll tell you more about it as we go. The only other two things you need is you need a good pair of gloves. Okay, this plastisol can be anywhere from 200 to 350 degrees. So you need to get you some good gloves that can handle the heat. The molds get hot, the injector gets hot, and this stuff stays hot for a while. So if you don't have good gloves, you're gonna burn yourself. And the last thing I did, I kept seeing all the guys talk about worm oil. So I purchased some worm oil and I put it in this spray bottle. I like to lubricate my molds before I shoot. The worm oil gives a little bit of shine to the baits. When you bag them up, it keeps the baits from sticking together, and it also preserves the baits. I also like to put it in my injectors to make it a little bit smoother. So that's pretty much what you need there to start. But what you also need is you need a microwave that's dedicated to making soft plastics. So I got this at Walmart. It's a 900 watt microwave. You have to start putting your stickers on there as you go. I've seen that on all the videos, so I'm starting to put my stickers on there so it'll look cool. But a cup of plastisol that I use takes about 3 minutes and 30 seconds for the plasticizer and the resin to mix, and usually get the temperature up to about 350 degrees is where I like it before I start mixing the pigments and the glitter. So we're going to go ahead and heat up the plastisol, and we'll be back in a minute. Alright, welcome back. I've about got the plastisol heated up, and now we're going to mix the pigments and the flakes. So my microwave, I can heat up a full cup of plastisol in about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So it's real important with your plastisol that we're in the tip of the garage and we got a fan here blowing out. If you have a closed-in space, you need to really probably have some type of ventilation, or maybe wear a respirator mask or something like that. So here's the plastisol. I'm going to stir it up. You need to have a laser temperature gun. It's real important when you're checking the temperature of the plastisol. I like my plastisol to be over 350 degrees when I start mixing in my pigments and my glitter. So I'm gonna check it right now. Perfect. So it's about 350 degrees. And if you take your knife and you lift it and you see how it drips like that, that means it's ready to go. Now my plastisol does have bubbles. I know a lot of the bait makers have vacuum chambers and things out there that they use to get the bubbles out. I'm not there yet. So we're gonna use Lureworks Chartreuse Dye 107. I saw one of the guys in the video said to buy some ball bearings on Amazon for nothing. Put them in there and it helps you shake it up better. So I'm gonna shake it up a little bit. Now chartreuse is kind of a transparent dye, so I'm gonna do, with Lureworks I like to do about 40 drops. So here we go. It's the exciting part. Make sure you have your gloves on. This plastisol is hot stuff. Even when you think it's cooled down, it can still burn you. Alright. Okay, so that's about 40 drops. I'm going to take my butter knife and start mixing it. I love the chartreuse color. The waters I fish, 3 colors that seem to work well in clear and dark water, and I don't know why, are chartreuse, white, and pink. So as I do more videos on my bait making, I'm going to start incorporating in some of those colors. So you can see it's a nice color. I'm going to take a little bit out and put it down here so you can see it's a good color. Nice and transparent. So a lot of our fish kind of had some blue streaks and silver streaks in there. So I'm going to take the glitter flakes that I originally purchased and we're going to mix it in. When I started doing this, I overwhelmed my baits with glitter. I mean, they looked ridiculous. So I think with our bait species, a little bit less is better. So I want the silver to be the predominant color. So usually with a couple plastics, I'm going to put in about a 1/4 teaspoonful, maybe a little bit more. Dump it in there. Okay, drop this over here in my water cup. And then I got this cool ocean blue flake that I don't want it to be as predominant as the silver, so I'm going to do about 1/8. Oop, wait a minute. Let me grab my... Can you grab that for me? I can't get it with my gloves.
This one?
Yeah. Thanks. All right, so I'm going to add about 1/8 of a teaspoon of this. Okay. All right. You want to slowly mix it in. Try not to get too much up on the sides. These butter knives, they work fine. So I'm going to mix it in. You know, the glitter, a lot of glitters with the transparent baits can drastically change the color. Some of your more opaque pigments, you have to put more glitter in to see it. So we're going to stir that up. That looks pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to check my temperature again. Alright, so the first mold we're going to shoot is the Do It Molds ripper bait. So I'm going to reheat this a little bit more back up to the temperature I like to shoot between 300 to 330. So we'll be right back. Alright, so we're back. I've reheated the plastisol. I've got my mold set up. You can buy these clamps at Harbor Freight real cheap. You want to, with this type of mold, you want to clamp it up at the top and you want to clamp it down at the bottom. Okay? Even though I wasn't doing this in the beginning, I did heat up my injector. You want your injector to be a little bit warm. I used to heat these molds up, but it's like 100 degrees in Florida right now, so don't need to heat them up. It's good to go. So I'm going to keep checking the temperature. You need to check the temperature when you mix the plastisol because the bottom temperature could be different from the top. So right now we're getting close. Chartreuse is one of my favorite colors. And I'll be doing some laminate baits in the future with a lot of chartreuse in it. Alright. So I like the temperature to get down to about 330. Alright, we're going to draw in the plastisol slowly. All the way up. Okay, I'm going to purge it just a little bit. Okay. So, you want to push down until you feel a little bit of resistance. Hold it for a second, then move to the next injection hole. We're just going to go one after another. I really like this 6-ounce this Do It mold 6-ounce. It's real lightweight. It is thin aluminum. It injects really well, and it's at a reasonable price. Okay. Now, you always want to top off what they call the sprues here because as the plastisol cools in the mold, it's going to suck the plastisol in. Alright, now one thing about this injector, when you're putting the rest of the plastisol back in, when you get down to the end, it does not have a locking pin. So if you keep pushing, the tip's going to pop off and it's going to go in your plastisol. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So we're going to let this cool for a few minutes and we'll be back to take a look at it. Alright, welcome back. We've given this mold plenty of time to cool, so I'm not going to worry about wearing my gloves. Sometimes if you want to open the mold after just a few minutes, you need to have gloves on. So we'll take the clamps off. Alright, so this is the Slick Shiner mold. So let's take a look here. Alright, I'm going to kind of try to put them back in here. So, alright. So, that's what they look like. Let me pull out a good one here. So, there's a Slick Shiner, good chartreuse color. It's got that silver and blue flake in it, which in the water will show up really well. And it's a smaller bait. I'd put it on like a 1/8 ounce short shank jig head. I like to use the DOA jig head. So one thing I like to do after I shoot the baits is I found this little tool in Home Depot. It's just a little scraper, but I'll go ahead in a 90-degree angle, go down, take it, put it in the water over here, and then after that I lay them out to dry, and then I take them inside and air condition, let them cure. So so that's the slick shiner bait. It's a good little swimming bait. I've used it, caught some good fish. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to get the plastisol heated back up, and we're going to shoot the Do It Molds Ripper swim bait. Alright, welcome back. We got the plastisol warmed up. We're going to shoot the Do It Molds Ripper swim bait mold now with the chartreuse mix in it. Draw it in all the way, spit a little out. Here we go. You're just going to push down, you feel a little resistance and hold. Go to the next one. So usually with this injector full, I can shoot all 8 baits in this mold without any problem. Top off the screws here a little bit, the extra. Now, one thing I wanted to mention is when I started, I purchased a gallon of the Bait Plastics 242 medium blend. It's odorless and clear. When you get it, the resin and the plasticizer are separated. So what a lot of guys will recommend in the videos is when you are getting ready to shoot some baits is go ahead and turn it upside down for about 10 minutes and then keep rotating it. You don't want to shake it. Now if you have the ability to get a little, you can buy little bits, stir bits for like paint that you can attach to your drill, and you can go in there and you can stir it up. But you want to make sure that it's fully mixed in order to shoot. So we're going to let this cool off, and we'll be back to see what it looks like. Alright, we're back. Alright, so that's what the top of the mold looks like after you shoot it. You can see the sprues filled in good. So we're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and release it. Let's see what it looks like. Alright. It's cooled down plenty, so I don't need my gloves. So let's see if I can open this up. Alright, so let's pull these over there. So that's what we got. I'm going to go ahead and pull one out and cut the sprue off. Let's see, let's take this one here. So always pull a little bit straight down to 90-degree angle. So what I really like about this bait is I always try to cut it right here so it's flat. So when you put your jig head through and it goes to the water, it really draws the water, and it causes some good rotation, and this huge tail, just tons of action. So this is a really good bait, and if you like adding scent to your baits like Procure or something, it's got these little ridges that I think will hold, maybe hold the scent in a little bit more, but it's an excellent bait. So we're going to heat up some more plastisol, and I'm going to do one of my favorite dyes from Lure Works, which is the blue dye with black flake. So we'll be back in a minute. Alright, we're back. We're going to do our second batch of baits. So one thing I wanted to mention, a lot of the videos I watch, all the guys recommend that you heat your plastisol up over 350 for it to fully develop before you start putting in your pigments in your flakes. So right now I got the temperature at about 365. So we're gonna, let's get started. So I love this color, this blue color from Lureworks Blue Dye 254. I think today I'm going to do about 30 drops. Let's see how it goes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, that's about 30. So let's see. Start stirring it in, see how it looks. This is just a really rich color. I really like this color in darker water. I think it really shows up good. Let's see here. I'm gonna put a little down here so you can see. I like that. I'm gonna stick with that. I'm not gonna add any more color into it. I kind of like my baits a little translucent in the water. I think it reflects the glitter better. All right, so what I decided to do, black is gonna be my primary color. So I'm gonna do a 1/4 teaspoon of this Lurecraft black. I always do a little bit more. Okay. And then I am going to do 1/16 of the silver just to give it a little bit of flash. So let's put a little bit of that in there. All right. And when your fan's blowing directly on you, it's gonna blow glitter everywhere, as we just saw. When I started doing this, I made an absolute mess everywhere. It was out of control. I had glitter all over me. I got glitter all over the house. It was a mess. So, all right. Mix it up here good. Try to get it off the sides. Everybody likes to use butter knives, so that's what I got. You can see that's a really rich blue color. Okay, there it is on the knife. So the black's more predominant than a little bit of silver, which is what I wanted. I think I'm satisfied with this color. So I'm gonna heat it up a little bit and we'll be back to inject. All right, we're back. It's time to inject. So I got it to the right temperature, a little under 330. Let's fill her up, purge a little. Here we go. Same thing again, just push down till you feel some resistance. Hold, push down, hold. Let's do it mold 6-ounce injectors. 6-ounce injectors are really good injector to start with. It's really easy to use. Top off the sprues a little bit. Okay. Alright, we're going to let this cool and we'll be back. Alright, we're back. We're going to check out the Slick Shiner mold here. So when I started doing this, they said you gotta come up with a YouTube name. So I was talking to my 20-year-old daughter, and I was naming some names. Every one of them, she said, "Dad, that's so uncool." So I said, "Well, what would you name it?" And she said, "Well, you never shut up about jig heads. How about Jighead Jon?" So there you go. So she also said, if I ever make any money off the YouTube channel or sell any baits, she wants 10%. So that's how I came up with my name. All right, let's see what they look like here. These, let me get them back in here. These came out. You know, you're not going to get perfect baits every time. That's just a part of bait making. The first batch I did of this Slick Shiner with the chartreuse, I think I got 5 good baits. So that's how they look. Looks like I got about 2 of them didn't come out too good. So I'm going to pull one off, take the sprue off, and show it to you. Okay, we're gonna come out here in the sunlight and let you see it a little bit better. So, all right, So out here in the sun, you can see a nice blue color, translucent. I didn't put too much dye in. You can see the black flakes and a little bit of the silver, which gives it a little bit of shimmer in the water. So this bait would do really well in our darker, murky water. So I'm going to heat the plastisol back up, and we're going to do one more bait and we're done. We're going to do the ripper. Be back in a minute. All right, we're back. Time to shoot the Do It Ripper mold in blue. So here we go. Draw it in all the way, purge it a little bit. There we go. Once again, I will put the prices up of everything I showed you in the beginning, so you kind of get a grand total of what I paid to get started. Alright, I'm going to add a little bit to the sprues here. We will be back in a few minutes to take a look. Alright, we're back. Let's take a look at this bait. So, I'll pop her open. So you know, when you inject these, you're going to have a lot of plastisol on top. So what I'll do, I'll kind of just tear it a little bit in between. You can, you know, get the razor blade or some scissors. It just makes it easier when you pull them out. So one thing about all this glitter is I'm a home health physical therapist, and the other week the glitter gets everywhere. So I somehow must have gone to work with glitter on my face, and I went in and this little old lady said, "Son, are you into making crafts?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Well, you got glitter on your face." So I explained to her I make soft plastic baits, and I don't think she truly understood it or she bought it. But anyway, so you're gonna get glitter all over your house, so try to rinse off before you go in. So all right, here we go. Okay, so there's our baits. Looks good. I'm gonna cut one off the sprue. Looks like all of these shot totally clear. All the tails look good. I'm gonna take one out. We're gonna carry it out in the sunlight and see how it looks. All right, I'm gonna go out here in the sun. Come on. Yeah, so looks pretty good, nice and translucent. Got the black flakes and the silver flakes for shimmer. This bait really swims good. So let me clean up and we'll be right back. All right, we're back to wrap it up. So this is all the baits we shot today. Not all of them came out good. I would say with these molds, with a cup of plastisol, if I successfully shoot every bait, I can get 24 to 30 baits out of 1 cup of plastisol. So one thing you want to do if you have plastisol left over is let it sit, let it cool off, pull it out of the cup, stick it in a quart size Ziploc bag, and I got a whole bin over there of pucks that I can use at a later date. If you ever use a puck and you heat it back up, you always want to make sure you cut it up real good. It'll heat up better. So that's how I got started in bait making. I love doing this. I do it all the time. So after a few weeks, I decided I want to up it to the next level. So my next video is going to be talking about how I upped it to the next level. New molds, new glitter, new colors, and a few other things that have made making baits a lot easier. It's still a hobby for me right now, but I've got fishing friends I've given baits to try out, and sometimes when I'm just out and about and I meet someone that's fishing, I keep a couple bags of my salt plastics in there and I just give them to them. So thanks for watching my channel. Hit the like button, subscribe, and also hit that notification button if you enjoyed watching my videos, and I will see you next time.